Hello, this is Dr. Eric Mortensen, your professor. Just checking in to make a few comments. I've been looking at your brainstorming assignment and just have some kind of general points that hopefully will be helpful for most of you. First of all, remember that when you read your response, I have a general kind of comment on the right-hand side, but I also have in-text comments in the text. So I'm not sure how those appear on your screen, but they should be a bubble or some kind of some sort of sign. If you click on that, it opens them up, so I have more extended comments. So make sure to look at those. I thought everyone's doing a really good job. The research looks good. Everybody seems on track. A couple things I did notice, though, is first of all, in terms of the working thesis, you're going to keep narrowing your thesis. Now that's fine. This is still early on, but just be aware that you kind of, as I mentioned in my other announcement, the hermeneutic circle. It's sort of a balancing act you have to do with research. I mean, you need to keep narrowing your focus because you don't want like a really huge, topic. Like student loan debt is too broad, right? There's a million things to say about it, but so you need to narrow that. Okay, but at the same time, as you're researching, as you're narrowing, you want to kind of stay flexible, right? You might find a new topic, you might find a new avenue. You don't want to close off possibilities, but obviously you need to be moving towards a more tenable thesis, a thesis that you can use and prove, and that's narrow enough to say something intelligent, worthwhile about, right? Otherwise, you're going to have this really general kind of paper, and that's not what you want. Okay, so everybody's doing well with that, but just be aware. Obviously, as you keep moving forward, you should be narrowing and honing in your thesis, working thesis. Okay, the second thing, search terms. I thought, generally, this is one of the sections on the assignment I felt like people could do a little bit more. It takes a little bit of creativity and artistry to kind of think about search terms, but they're important, obviously. One thing you can do is, I noticed with several of you, if you look down your sources or you think about the sources you're coming up with, think about what terms they are using, and they're the ones in the field, and defining these things. So I mean, if they're using a term, use that term. Just borrow it. It's not plagiarism. It's like if they have a phrase, use that, right? Play around. It's going to take. I mean, research is kind of a funny thing. I mean, it seems like there's nothing, then all of a sudden use a different term, and all of a sudden there's more than enough or too much. So just be flexible and kind of like play around a little bit and see where that gets you, and don't be afraid to look at your sources. And go through them and kind of get ideas from them. And that's what they're there for. They're there to help make your argument, but they're also there to help inform your knowledge. That's what research is about. And on that note, just remember you're gonna have to look at quite a few sources. You might only use 10 sources or whatever in the paper, but again, you might be looking at 3, 4, 5, 10 times that. I mean, not 10, but a lot more than that, and that's okay. I mean, you don't have to necessarily read all of them, but just give yourself the option. Take a look. If something looks promising, go look it over, read the abstract. See if it's helpful. See if it's maybe pushing your thinking in a new direction. Sometimes you come across an article or a series of articles and you think, hey, well, this is more interesting, more engaging, makes more sense than what I'm working on. Maybe I'll go in that direction, right? So again, this flexibility is important. Going forward, you have to kind of have an idea what you're doing and narrowing your focus, but at the same time being open, because you never really know. You're not at the stage where you're actually writing it, so it's still very much a researching game. And again, don't be afraid to look at some sources. Don't be afraid to sort of dig in. If something doesn't work, if something does, if a source doesn't pan out, fine, let it go. Maybe you can get something from it. Maybe you can't. You don't. Remember, you can also use sources. You can also use their sources, right? Looking at an article, if it seems like it's kind of talking about what you want to focus on, see who they cite. See look at their bibliography. Look at their works cited. Who are they referring to? Right? You can just mine that for your own sources. All right, so that's another trick that might help. So everyone's doing well. Good luck. Have fun. This should be a fun process. Research is fun. You're finding things out. Just keep taking notes, keep pushing. See if you can't kind of get yourself a more and more narrow thesis that's getting closer to what you want to argue. And yeah, like I said, keep an open mind and enjoy yourself. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. All right. Good luck and have fun.